Welcome to the latest episode of Branding the Experience, where we discuss ways where we can create environments where employees actually want to come to work and customers want to keep coming back. Hi, I'm Ken Bader, your host for Branding the Experience, and our subject today is brand on Binge, because we have a wonderful guest, Erica Becker, who is the TV host, producer, and head of events, and probably 16 other things for Binge Networks. Welcome to the show, Erica.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. I mean, obviously, on a show called Branding the Experience, we have a number of folks in our audience that are always looking for new ways to get their brand out there. So rather than me explain it, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Binge Networks?
We are the perfect subject to be on your show. Binge Networks TV is a global media company. So basically, we pride ourselves, and our biggest strength is syndication. So we have the power of getting content in front of millions and millions of viewers that you would not normally be able to have. Now, some people kind of ask, oh, well, YouTube, what's the difference between that and YouTube? Well, there's a big difference, because on Binge, you're not only on Binge Networks, you are also syndicated onto 50 other platforms. Apple TV, Roku, Sony, Sharp, that's the main top ones, but there's a list of 50. So if you think about it, if you have a channel on Binge and then your content is also going out to all these 50 other outlets, right, the chances of it getting seen are up 100%. So it's the perfect outlet for content creators who are trying to gain more views. Sure. And really brand themselves out there as a content creator, entrepreneur. It's the perfect step to take, because it's really hard. I'm sure a lot of people know that it's really hard to stand out. And you can create a YouTube channel. I mean, I have a YouTube channel too. A lot of people do, and that's the problem. A lot of people do. Right. And it's not like there's some requirement, to get one, and there's so much noise on YouTube. It's just crazy. So it's hard to stand out, I think, on YouTube. It's very hard. So we recognize that, and we know that that's where the value really is getting content seen. Right. So that's kind of like the main, in a nutshell, what we do at Binge.
Now, that's a great thoughts on that, because as we talk about on this show, and I talk about with my clients, obviously first you need to have a clear brand message and brand image and know what you want to put out there. Yeah. But that's only half the battle. Once you've done that right, now you've got to get eyes and ears in front of that message. Yeah. And
I know.
And YouTube is great. I obviously this show is on YouTube, and I think that everybody.
There's nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, there isn't. But YouTube is only one channel, and you're offering 50, which is tremendous. Yeah. So if you're on 50 channels, odds are there's at least a couple of those that we could probably say that your content would be good on.
Yeah. And there's more of a chance. I mean, we're built into the smart TVs. So being on Roku, being accessible on Roku is just huge. I mean, that's how all of these networks started. Netflix, Hulu, Crackle. There's a lot that are coming up now, that's kind of taking over. So, for us to be a part of that, it really shows we're getting there, Right. Maybe we're not Netflix, but we're on climbing our way to that level. And we have a leg up over many, many other kinds of platforms and YouTube by just being on Roku and in the smart TVs and having a downloadable app that's free. That's huge.
That's awesome.
It's so easy. You can just download Binge as an app on your phone. I mean, that's the easiest thing. We're on our phones all day. You know, you can't tell me someone doesn't have 3 seconds to download that. And so we try to make it really easy for people, because then they're more likely to do it. I mean, people don't want to spend time doing anything anymore, you know. They just want everything. They just want it right now, everything. So it really is a really important part of branding and getting your content seen and growing and building your brand and kind of your reach, is being easily accessible to viewers, because there's a lot of competition out there.
Sure.
There's a lot of, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people doing this. So any kind of viewer who might be looking for this or trying to look for it, they're going to take whatever is the easiest thing, the quickest download, the easiest to find, and what looks appealing to the eye. I mean, it is so true. People don't like to necessarily believe that, but if your stuff looks good and it's kind of all flows together, like you have a brand, like your fonts are the same, the color, you always use this cut, like the style. Like when I do my interviews, I always do it. I mean, I have my Erica's tiny studio. So like a little studio, my little TV studio in my apartment. But I always use this wall because it's the same look. So people recognize it, and they think, as soon as they see that and with this light, they're like, oh, that's what that is. They connect it. So that's an really important thing. Visual is huge. And so, and then being easily accessible, like I said, for people, because if they're trying to look for something, if they can't find you and then something else comes up that's almost the same and it's easier, then they're going to do that. They don't want to take 5 extra minutes. So that's something that I've really learned is very important when it comes to that.
Right. Yeah, I'm always almost always in my kind of semi-disorganized office here. So people always see the starfish in the picture of the ocean.
The starfish. I was going to say that's the first thing that I noticed, because I love ocean stuff. My room is like the ocean. It's like kind of themed like that. I love that stuff. So I noticed that right away. I was like, oh, I need to get a starfish for my room.
For our viewers, Bonnie is the founder of Binge Networks.
Yes, founder and CEO and creator and basically Wonder Woman.
Or Captain
Now
Marvel.
You think I have a lot of
Marvel universe.
You think that I have a lot of tasks with Binge? Like, she wears the most hats.
Right.
She does.
Well, one of the tasks she took on, and this will be interesting for a number of our viewers, is you recently, in fact, as recently as November of last year, went through a rebranding. And I have more than one clients that are in the process in one shape or form of either doing a full rebrand or what I'll call a retool of their current brand. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the rebrand and some of the motivation to rebrand to Binge Networks?
Yeah, sure. It's interesting because how Binge Networks came about, up until October, November, it was actually called the Bon Bon Network, and the logo was different. It was like a B and then a backwards V, kind of like attached. And why it started off like that, because Bonnie, her nickname throughout her childhood, people would call her Bon Bon, and she started out having her own talk show on the Manhattan Neighborhood Network about six years ago, I believe, 5 or 6 years ago. And so she had just a talk show on there, and it was called the Ask Bon Bon Show. And so that was kind of her gig. She was filming a lot of shows, all the time, and it got a lot of great success, a lot of great hype. And she was on the, like in New York, she'd be like on the subway, like her thing. And then she decided she kind of wanted to go bigger and do something. She was tired of just doing interview shows. So she came up with this idea to create a network for it. It's similar to what Oprah did. It kind of goes like, if you want a comparison, she had obviously the Oprah Winfrey Show. And then she created the OWN networks.
That's right.
Which is not just her, it's other people having shows on that network, people that she wanted to give opportunity to, for more people that she thought were, you know, talented and inspiring and had good content. So that's a similar thing to what Bonnie did. She met all these inspiring, awesome, cool people throughout doing all these interviews. And all these people, they have YouTube channels, or they're trying to get their show out there, or they're having a podcast that trying to get more views. And she thought that, why don't I create something with all these connections that she's made throughout the years with different networks, different people, important people. She thought I should use that and create a network of my own to help all these people that I've met have their own channels on there. So we called it the Bon Bon Networks, because it came spin off of like the Ask Bon Bon show. And then I think that the decision to rebrand was just to update and modernize. And I think maybe it was also her kind of, she wants to update this because it's not the Ask Bon Bon show. That's not what this is. It's a network. So, and we always brand and advertise the network as content that's bingeable, that's short enough to watch a lot. You can watch a lot of it because they're short form videos. And so, I mean, that's also another huge thing nowadays. People don't want to watch really long things hardly anymore. So that's what we, attention spans, you know?
No, I get it. I get it.
It's so crazy. But that's, so she thought, you know, let's update this. Let's make it a little chicer, a little sexier, a little more modern. And now, I mean, I can show you my mug. I mean, that's just appealing, you know, that looks great. And it's Binge Networks. It sounds cool. It's like, oh, Binge, like that's really, it's a cool sound. It's a cool look. And I was really excited about it, you know, when she showed me all the new things, and she loved, I mean, we all love it. And other people, like I've had other people tell me too, that it's more visually appealing, this logo, and just the way the website looks now, and then the network looks, it's easier to access. It's cleaner. It's just sleek. It looks nice. And so I think that probably has helped us. I mean, we've brought on about 100 channels since then. So we have over 200 channels now. I think that helped a lot. You know, it's cooler looking.
Now, is that 200 channels or 200 shows?
Well, channels and shows are kind of
same thing,
interchangeable.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, 200 shows / channels. Yeah.
Got it. Well, as a somewhat self-proclaimed, and many of my clients, fortunately, will call me a brand expert as well. So thank you for that. But as a brand expert, I wasn't I wasn't familiar with the Bon Bon Network, but obviously I am familiar with Binge. I'm a little ashamed that my cell phone is right here, and I've signed up for Binge, but I haven't downloaded the app yet. So as soon as we finish talking, I'll do that. I promise. But I really like from a branding standpoint, the name Binge. I think it speaks more to exactly who you are and what you offer, which is a good lesson for our viewers. And to just kind of add to that, I had a conversation earlier today with the PR director for an association called the National Association of Law Enforcement Support, and what they shortened it to was NAIL. Okay. It's nails with a double entendre, that your nails tough, and it's mostly women, so it's nails. and they changed that
Uh-huh.
from the name of Wives of Law Enforcement, and they did that because they felt that, and they got a lot of feedback of Wives of Law Enforcement just didn't have the oomph to it.
It doesn't sound too, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't. It basically what what the PR director
Not
said is,
strong.
yeah, it sounded like a bunch of ladies drinking wine and talking about law enforcement, but Nail's tough, darn it. That goes right to it.
Yeah,
Much like Binge. I mean,
that's
you
so
you know
funny.
exactly what you stand for.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, I mean, and people are more likely to go check that. I mean, if you told me, Nails Tough versus Wives of Law Enforcement,
Yeah.
which one am I gonna be interested in? Of course, it's the Nails. So it's really true. It's important.
So to your point earlier that you people have short attention spans, and you need to have a
Mhm.
name and a look that is going to grab people right away. In the spirit of short
Yeah.
attention spans, one last question for you, from a branding perspective. You've obviously seen on your networks a number of video shows as well as a number of podcasts that have come on your show. What are
Yeah.
a couple of the things that you've seen from those shows and podcasts that have really been branded well and helps them to stand out to the audience?
Um, well, from a branding standpoint, I would say there are definitely shows that stand out to me on the network that my eye goes to. But all of our channel partners have very good, their main like icon for like when you go to the network and you're just looking, for the whatever show. And it's like the icon for the show, like the graphic,
Mm-hmm.
all of those actually look very nice. We have a good team, and all of our content creators are also they're pretty creative people, and we always make sure, if they want help with it, we want to make sure it looks great too.
Yeah.
But those all look very nice. They speak to who that person is. Most of them do a great job of that, and you don't want your graphic to be crazy busy with too much happening. Like people
Right.
see that and they're just like, there's a lot going on there. I don't even know what that is. Like I don't really know what that is. They might be inclined to just not check it out. So I think that the people who have sleek and simple but still interesting looks, there's a few that I can think of. Savor is one of our shows on there. It's a cooking show. I love Darvini. She has such a she does a lot of home decorating and decorating tables and preparing for parties, and she shows tips, and she makes all these beautiful tables and spreads for holidays and different things, and everything always just looks so bright. I guess she probably has a light that she uses. It looks so bright and colorful, and just it's so easy on the eyes. You just want to keep looking at it. It looks so nice. And so the look, it really is a huge thing. And nowadays, especially if you're recording, videos of your own
Sure.
from your home, which I do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's important to have it look nice, and it's not hard anymore. You
Mm-hmm.
can get a light from Amazon. I have the Diva light, and it's just this ring light. Even my cell phone can fit. If I'm using my phone to film, it fits right. There's a tripod in there, and it fits right in there. It's a tripod and a light for my phone. So if I'm, recording interviews or an audition or something like that, it's just so easy. And that's something you can get on Amazon. There's also not even that not that it's even elaborate, but there's even smaller things you can get if you don't even want something that crazy.
Sure.
Get a tripod for your iPhone, like a small tripod for your iPhone. That's not hard. You can make stuff look nice, just a little bit of effort and
Sure.
not too much money. Just putting that effort in will do wonders. And knowing what your content, like knowing your brand, being clear about that is important.
Of course. Yeah, I've always got to put out great content because, I've got an old light, which is fine because nobody wants to see this bald head and any clearer than it already is. And, and I'll just work with the beach theme behind me. But great points. Yeah, but great points, especially, I'm just starting to work with Binge on another project that I'm working on. And we just finished the logo, and it's actually very simple with 2 colors, and it stands out. So I'm glad we're on the same page like that, or on that. For our viewers that may be interested in having a channel or at least learning a little bit more about Binge Network and how it might fit into their marketing and branding plan, what's the best way for them to take a look at Binge?
Well, they can definitely look at the site, which is bingenetworks.tv. So you can see everything, how it looks, how the site works. It's very, it's simple, but you can see everything there and the look that we have. Definitely, there's also, if you go to bingechannels.com, that gives an overview, and there's some testimonials and things like that, and a little like explainer videos of, introduction. Hi, this is how we are. This is how the channel has helped me, and it gives kind of a rundown, like a lists of what you will get having a channel and kind of a little bit more what it's like. And then definitely, they can email too. I mean, I'm happy to always answer any questions that anyone has about it. And I love signing people up for channels and, helping them get that started. So my email is Erica, ERICA, at bingenetworks.tv. So anyone can feel free to reach out as well if they are interested.
Well, that's awesome. I encourage all of you that either have video or a podcast or a combination thereof, especially if you're a service-based business, which is the majority of our audience and the clients that I have the pleasure of working with. It can be another tactic, another avenue for your brand, and one that isn't terribly expensive, unlike some other marketing tactics that you can use. So check out Binge. Check out Binge. Definitely communicate with Erica and learn more about it if you have any questions. And Erica, thank you so much for being on the show. Wonderful tips on branding and your network.
I'm so happy. I really appreciate you asking me to be on. It's fun to be the guest. I'm never the guest.
That's right. You're usually the TV host and not the guest. Well, thank you again for being here. And for all those watching, here's hoping that you're branding the experience at a very high level at your unique business. Take care.